Hey there, hopefuls. Welcome back to the Hopeful Simplicity Podcast. I am Melissa, your host, and today we are wrapping up this season with the big question. How often should I declutter? Well, some people think you need to declutter every day, while others put it off until it feels overwhelming again. But the truth is, and the air quote right answer is whatever fits your life and keeps clutter away. That's how often you should do it. So in this episode, I'm going to share some daily, weekly, seasonal, and additional-ish items that might help you keep clutter away and actually work for real life. Plus, how to make them sustainable without burnout. So micro resets. Let's just talk about daily life because real life, right? I love a 5, 10, 15 tops minute tidy. And I don't mean like a tidy of, I'm going to spend 5 minutes here and then get sucked into the vortex of spending 5 minutes in 12 different places. But a good tidy of, I'm going to just clean out the sink kind of vibes. I'm just going to make my bed kind of energy. I'm just going to take the hanger out of my closet and then put it back at the end of the day. Those type of tidies, those ones that we can consider habits when we have to start the process and actually make a list or put it on my to-do things. But the ones that actually become the mindless daily tasks that we do most often without even realizing we're doing it or stopping to think about having to do it or we've actually done it. Those pseudo-mundane moments that become sustainable steps that we no longer even give a thought about. Making your bed, putting your dirty clothes in the hamper, those 5-minute tidies of, okay, I'm just going to take the towels out of the master bathroom, toss them in the laundry and put new ones in. That's just my Saturday routine, right? What do you do every day that's a quick, fast, tidy reset to enhance your hopeful, organized life? To keep your surfaces less cluttered. Oh, that book doesn't really go there. I'm walking that direction. I'm going to grab it, put it away. Those anchor routines, making your bed, putting the clothes in the laundry, putting the shoes in the shoebox and where it goes instead of just kicking them off on the floor. Those routine tasks, as icky as that word feels, those routine habits that you may or may not even know you're doing. Those are your quick daily wins. And maybe we're going to just take a second right now and be like, damn, pat on myself's back. High five to you from me for doing the stuff that you don't even realize you're doing. You're making progress because we ain't going for perfection. Remember, we are making progress on living and sustaining an organized life. We ain't even worried about that perfection thing. That's unrealistic and not even a thing. So F that. We aren't doing that, but we are acknowledging the progress we made. And maybe we're taking a whole second right now to, I do have an everyday win. I have shifted into a daily habit that helps me sustain my organized life and less stress living. You might not even know it. So what's something that you are doing that you aren't even noticing? Do you make your bed every day? Do you take your hanger out of your closet since we listened to that episode? And then if you take a shirt off, you take it back off. If you've put a shirt on and you take it back off because it's icky feeling or it doesn't make you feel as sexy as you are, and you're like, no, I no longer give you the hanger. You now go to the donate box. Those are those 5, 10, 15 minute, daily tidy moments. You just didn't know it had a name. Maybe you just didn't recognize what a win it really is. That you now have this routine, this habit, this part of the anchor that keeps your bedroom tidy in place, that keeps the clutter away. And not every day has to be a major lift. You don't have to go through decluttering every space every day because you're having your consistent wins that keep them at bay. So maybe you are decluttering more than you realize. You just aren't noticing it because it's part of your routine now. Maybe you are in the habit of putting those clothes that you don't like wearing in the donation box without even thinking about it. So you are constantly decluttering without even having to think about the ick feeling that can come with the word declutter. Those mini micro sets that you may be participating in regularly that you didn't even know you were doing. That's how often you should declutter. That's how often you are decluttering without even realizing it. You have a weekly rhythm in place to help make sustaining that organized life less overwhelming. So maybe every week you have a system in place for laundry that has shifted since our last episode or episodes, that now instead of the stuff coming out the dryer into the basket making its way from the chair to the floor, to the edge of the bed, to this room, to the couch, to the wherever, now it doesn't even really make its way to the basket. Or if it does, it's folded on the way to the basket and that basket's just dropped at kiddo's door. You have those rhythms, those routines, those maintenance habits, steps in place that you only do once a week or so. I'm not saying you have to do laundry every single day. You may, if you have way too many kids and other people living in your house, maybe that machine is running constantly. But the following steps to laundry have shifted into a sustainable option instead of a regular overwhelm. Maybe you've gotten in the habit of once a week, you'll focus on a small space. And by the time Friday afternoon, Saturday comes, that space is just shouting out hopeful organized, right? You've worked on the decluttering. You're like, poof, I got this. 1 week has a focus. And then I know I'm supposed to simplify expired, outgrown, and unused items. I know what my organizing style is. So I'm going to set it up for my visual, non-visual, macro, micro needs. And then by the end of the week, that space, tick. Calendar reminder set for 6 months. I'm going to retick that space, but this week crushed it. Maybe that's part of your sustaining life. So you are pseudo-ish constantly decluttering, but it's not the heavy lift of decluttering. It's not the overwhelm of having to make the constant decisions because you focus 1 week at a time on one small space at a time. So then in 6 months, it's not overwhelming. It's not a heavy sigh of ugh-tastic dread. It's now just a weekly part of my rhythm steps. It's like dancing through life. Sorry, my nerd fell out there, but it is. It's like the rhythms that we have in place for the lifestyle that we are choosing to live. So maybe you hyper-focus on a small space every week. Maybe every evening, every Friday evening after pizza night and family game time, the family tackles this task. Kid 1 handles bathroom, the main bathroom. Maybe spouse rotates the laundry and distributes it. You do a little bit of a deeper clean in the kitchen. Maybe kid 2 tackles vacuuming the living room. That's part of the weekly rhythm that we now have in place to sustain an organized life, therefore making decluttering part of the regular routine. But at the same note, at the same time, you've decluttered having to carry the overwhelm and constantly on you part of it, because this is just part of your weekly sustaining and organized life routine. This is just part of the rhythm. Now the family's just included. You've rotated spaces each week. So now, 6 months from now, it's just part of what it is. It's not even anything you have to think about. You don't have to do with it, right? You plug and play to the podcast. You plug and play into the library, and it's just part of what your daily thing is. It's just part of your weekly rhythm and routines. And then you've eliminated the overwhelm of decision making and figuring it out and starting from step 1 every single time. You're just managing it differently than what you may have been used to doing. And part of managing that is you're keeping clutter away without giving it power it doesn't deserve, the weight it shouldn't carry in your home. You're keeping it away and sustaining an organized life because you're managing your home, your spaces, and the people in that differently. You didn't even know you were shifting until maybe right now. I want to hit pause here for just a moment and ask, what is one habit that you can adjust today to keep clutter away. Now, if you're not sure, or you want more help, or if you just need an idea of what to declutter, check out the show notes. You'll find the Core for a Declutter Challenge to help you walk through more detail to make those rooms you use the most a little lighter. Maybe you didn't even realize you had different habits and routines in place because it was just part of the rhythm and the steps of everyday life. And now you're like, wait, I don't have to do a massive declutter all of the time because I am constantly aware that I love my spaces. That the stuff that's staying is the stuff that actually serves us. So I'm constantly aware that I'm decluttering old habits that didn't work, stuff that aren't serving us without even recognizing it. I mean, that's huge. Maybe, yes, you still do the every 6 months you participate in decluttering your closet, decluttering your nightstand, looking for those things that, maybe just didn't catch your awares during your daily, weekly, monthly routines. Maybe you were just so accustomed to scooting the hanger past those 3 shirts you didn't like, you just didn't declutter them. You just didn't even notice them. So in 6 months, you will actively notice them because you do have that on your calendar now to sustain an organized life, to focus in on decluttering and analyzing your sorted system. But it's just part of your routine now, right? You just know in 6 months I'm going to do it. So I'll get to it when I get to it. But my space isn't packed so full of clutter that it stresses me out every day. Maybe every season you do rotate, or every 6 months when you go from spring to fall, you do just declutter the tank tops you didn't wear without even thinking about it. You do just not give those itchy sweaters a hanger again this year without even thinking about it. It's just now part of your brain path because you love your spaces and you're not letting crap back in, be it actual clutter or stuff you don't even like. So when you do those seasonal rotations, maybe it's not even clothes, maybe it's decor. Maybe you like to add the warmer colors for the fall and winter seasons to your bedding, to your blankets, to your pillows. And then you swap them out in the spring and you're like, yeah, you know what? I didn't really care anymore. And you just declutter them instead of swap them. But again, those refresher steps, those check-ins, those routines, habits, and maintenance steps will just become a part of the lifestyle, a part of what it is. Every August or September, you're going to pull that winter box out. You're going to do this. You don't even have to stop and think, do I like this? Is it expired? Does this spark joy? Does this blah, blah, blah? I'd be like, F that, toss. I like this one. I'm going to keep it. And then it becomes part of the routine instead of the actual steps of having to think about. You've swapped out the overwhelm without even probably knowing it was overwhelming or actively participating in the thoughts of the overwhelm. Now it's my lifestyle. It is what it is. It is part of the natural rhythm you've built for your organized life. Yes, we'll still have reminders. Yes, we'll still have to-do list. Yes, we still have to actively participate in those choices, for sure. We actually have to remember to focus on decluttering during our 6-month check. We have to remember to actively focus on, is this sorted for my success, or should I switch systems? Do I need to swap out my all solid shoe bins for a couple of open shelf racks instead? You still have to actively participate so you maintain and sustain your organized life, but it's less overwhelmed because now it's just part of the rotation. You still have to actively check those hidden spots, those under the beds, those second drawers, because you really only use the top one of your nightstand. You still have to be aware of those. Might be part of your seasonal rotation, might be part of your 6-month check-ins, maybe your monthly habit, whatever it is, you still have to be part of it. But now it's just part of your your life choices and your regular rhythms instead of overwhelm and ugh. So you have to pick what fits for you. Do you want to challenge yourself to a daily declutter? Maybe you're part of the library and you've grabbed one of the room declutter challenges and you're like, yeah, yes, I do. I want to declutter every single day because it is therapeutic, it is motivating, and my spaces always feel lighter. Cool. I mean, if that works for you, do that. Or you grab the free Core 4 declutter challenge and you just rinse and repeat that every month to keep your main rooms lighter, your main rooms clutter-free. Do what fits you. Me, I'm good. I'm good with the 6-month check-in. I'm good with the seasonal. Yeah, I didn't wear that tank top. I guess I don't need to give it a hanger for the next season, right? That works for me. But I've also been doing this for a while. Maybe you like to declutter because it's therapeutic. So you have to fit the processes that fit your lifestyle. Maybe you're going to hyper focus 1 week on decluttering and take the rest of the month off. Maybe the first week of every month, you declutter. You go on a binger and declutter everything. All the small spaces of the kitchen are being tackled on Monday, the living room Tuesday, the bedroom on Wednesday, the bathrooms on Thursday, the kids' rooms on Friday, the office on Saturday, the garage on Sunday. Rinse and repeat the next month. You do a hard and fast declutter the first week of every month, and then you just kind of sustain your organized spaces the rest of the month. Whatever works for you. Now be flexible to rethink it. Don't just think like just because it's worked. Again, you've heard me say it, and I will always say just because it's worked doesn't mean it has to stay that way. Just because you really loved decluttering every day doesn't mean you have to live in decluttering every day forever. Let's think about this for a second. Which season is your clutter trigger? That's the season I want you to plan and schedule a reset in just before it creeps up on you. So if it's winter, schedule that reset for fall. Sustaining an organized life and choosing decluttering every day for now doesn't mean your sustaining an organized life has to keep decluttering every day next year. I want you to stay open and flexible to the lifestyle, because just like our stuff and our things and our spaces are always constantly changing and things are in and out and our seasons of life are flowing differently and we go through the phases and stages of life, just like our schedules and routines. So stay open and flexible. Maybe the kids moved out or you're selling the house and you have to go through a hard and fast, constant declutter mode. Maybe that's just now. Maybe that's this season of life. But, who knows what the next chapter will bring. So just stay open, stay flexible, stay hopeful. Revisit it when you need to. Maybe every month, the 1st or the 15th, or every season, you're like, I do feel lighter, but I don't feel like I have to declutter every day. So I'm just going to do it seasonally. Or I'm just going to do a super massive home declutter every time the leaves change colors in the fall. Just stay open and flexible to knowing that it's a lifestyle that comes and goes with different seasons, phases, stuffs, routines, habits, clutter options. And sometimes those are good and bad habits. Sometimes that's massive clutter. Sometimes it's less clutter. Sometimes it doesn't feel manageable. Other times you're like, hell yeah, I'm a badass. Whatever that is, just stay open to staying open. And revisit these things. You're going to revisit your closet every 6 months. Revisit your status every 6 months. Do you need to up your declutter daily routine habits, or do you need to mellow it down a little bit? That's how often you have to declutter. So it does look different. It could look different for you multiple times a year. It could look really different from you to me, but also from you to you. But don't forget to celebrate when you are checking in with spaces. If you are working through that Core 4 declutter challenge every month to make this year the year of decluttering, give yourself a high five. Message me and I'll give you a virtual high five. Unless you're nearby, then I'll meet up and high five you in person. Atta girl. Way to go, mama. It needs a pat on the back. I did this, so I'm going to get this reward. I'm not saying like I decluttered 50 books, so I'm going to reward myself with 60. No, maybe don't do that. But take time to acknowledge where you are. Celebrate what you've done. Revel in those before and after pictures and being like, I did that. I can keep doing it because I want to sustain an organized life, because I'm choosing to be aware that my decluttering phases may change through the seasons of life and actual yearly seasons, because my organizing style may shift. But you're taking time to see where you've been, acknowledge where you are, and be excited about looking for tomorrow, right? Be excited about sustaining an organized life. Be excited because of what you've done is motivating, is hopeful, is a reason to celebrate. Maybe you have that on your sustaining steps. Maybe part of your 3S method, that sustainable step, is to schedule a day to reflect and celebrate. You're like, you know what? I'm going to go to the winery and sit there and look at people all day long while they enjoy this sweet red. And I'm going to get a cheese tray too. Part of the organized life, decluttering based on what works for you and your lifestyle and your home team family's lifestyle, is accepting where you are, the good and the bad, but celebrating what you've done. Because that's real good, right? That's winning. That is, you've chosen this lifestyle. You constantly are aware of decluttering. You made those habits, those routines, those maintenance steps, those tasks, those to-do lists work for you and yours. And now I'm just okay with it. Now I'm just living it. And I revisit it now and then. I check in with it now and then. But I am actively aware and open to changing and celebrating my wins. Decluttering doesn't have to be constant or exhausting, unless you choose to make it that way, and then that's a whole other discussion. But by using daily resets, weekly rhythms, seasonal refreshes, whatever works for you and yours, you'll keep clutter from taking back over. You'll keep it away, and you'll find peace in your spaces and a pace that works for you. So that wraps up this season of the Hopeful Simplicity podcast. We have walked through the bedroom, zone by zone, small space by small space, answered some of those big home organization questions, and hopefully by now set up some rhythms to help you make progress that sticks. If you're ready to keep this momentum going, check out the Hopeful Simplicity Library. It is guided audio steps, room by room, small space by small space for every spot of your home. And it's only $9 a month with additional resources. I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the season, for tuning into the Hopeful Simplicity podcast. So stay encouraged, friends. Stay motivated. Keep it going. Celebrate your small space wins. But above all, stay hopeful.